What's up? Welcome back to your boy's channel. It is me, Tarek Ali. How you guys doing? You doing good? I hope you're feeling positive, optimistic, faithful. Oof, was that a whistle in my F? Oh my gosh, that was the gayest thing I've ever done in my life. Okay, anyway. So a lot of you guys know, if you're not new here, you know that I moved to LA, but if you're new here, hi. I already told you my name, but I just moved from Atlanta to LA. I went to college in Atlanta. I graduated a month and a half, May, whenever that was, okay, 2 months. I don't know, I forgot the days. Is it Tuesday, Wednesday, or Sunday? I don't know, it's one of them, but we're here. And just like I didn't know I was gonna be graduating during a pandemic and a lockdown, I ended up moving during a pandemic and a lockdown. And everybody was like, you should probably wait, like just wait it out. And that's when people thought this was gonna last for like 3 weeks, like, you know, like Ebola or something. But no, after a month I was like, nah, I'm not staying in Atlanta, so I need to get out of here. So in today's video, I'm just gonna be sharing my experience when it came to apartment hunting and looking for a place in LA, what it was like moving with the pandemic, the budgeting and things that I learned. And I'm also gonna share some tips that I think a lot of you guys can use even outside of this pandemic if you're watching this 3 years later. So you guys know I drink wine in all of my videos. Today we're gonna be drinking rosé. Oh, by the way, I'm not done decorating, okay? So don't get too excited. I know y'all asking questions about all of this stuff. Y'all keep asking all these questions and I'm like, y'all just gonna have to wait until the furnished apartment tour, okay? I'm almost done. I need a painting and I need more stuff. Okay, just don't look, okay? Just focus. Here. So when should you start looking? Okay, so for me personally, I started looking a year early, okay? And I'm gonna tell you why. Well, one of the reasons is because I get a lot of anxiety when it comes to like making major life decisions. So you're gonna look a year ahead because you want to see the price range of apartments in that area. Wherever you're moving, if you're moving to LA, Seattle, New York, DC, wherever you go, it's good to have an idea of what you want and what that's priced at normally in that area. So most people already think about this if they're going to like a major city like LA or New York or something like that. But you know, this goes for anywhere because the cost of living is different everywhere. There's also resources online where you can search the average rent for a specific type of unit in a city. But this is just the average, okay? That's including like poverty to like the high end places. I don't know where your pockets is at, but when you look up apartments a year early, you can get an idea of like what you want. Like, oh, I don't want carpet, I want hardwood, I want a dishwasher, I want this and that. Like you kind of look at the apartments that you would stay in, you write those down, and then you kind of see what those are priced at, because a $1,500 apartment gonna get you the same thing as a $2,100, okay? So it's important to see what you want, what you would like, so you can see how much it's gonna cost. And then when you're looking at it a year early, that also gives you enough time so that you can know what your goal is when it comes to saving. Like, how much money do I need to save to move into this unit? Which brings me to the next thing, how much money you should save before moving. Now, I think this is all personal preference. The common advice is to save 3 months of rent because that's usually how much time it takes you to find a new job. Depending on if you're a professional, if you don't have a degree, if you have a degree, I don't know. That's just, ask Google. That's just what Google says, is what everybody says, 3 months of rent, okay? It makes sense. It's just so much that goes into that. I think when people think about moving, they only think about the rent. It's like, oh, save 3 months of rent. But like, girl, what if you move in and you ain't got no furniture? You're gonna spend way more money on furniture and like utensils, like forks, soap, towels, linen. You're going to spend so much money on the stuff inside of your apartment, it's gonna exceed your rent. I'm just letting you know that now. Like, if you don't have any furniture. Now, if you have furniture or you have a couch and a bed, girl, that's not everything, girl. I don't know, some people like to stay in a house with just a bed and a dresser. If that's what you wanna do, girl, that's your tea. But I'm just saying, if you're gonna get like TVs, Apple TV, all that stuff, you need to also put that in your budget as well, because a lot of people don't think about that. I'm people. I just didn't realize how expensive it would be to move. So what I used to find apartments in LA, I used Zillow, I used Apartment List, I used apartments.com, I used Westside Rentals, and I used Facebook, okay? Now, I will say it was a lot of different resources and it was a lot of jumping around. It's confusing, but it's worth it, okay? If you wanna find the dream place for you, you're gonna have to put the work in, okay? Don't think you can go to one website and find your perfect home. Oh, I'm gonna be happy here. No, you're not. That's not how it works, okay? You gotta put the work in. You have apartment buildings with like a lot of tenants where it's like, I don't know, like a fancy name and it's owned by like, I don't know, something like Camden, you know, Camden Apartments, or something like Caliber Living. Like, it's like a chain, not a chain, but like different branches of that all around the country. You're gonna find a lot of those on apartments.com and Apartment List. On Westside Rentals and Zillow, you're gonna find more landlord type situations. I mean, it's a landlord and they probably have like 5 units or 10 units or 20 units. It's not like a huge building. You're not gonna have like the best amenities, but it's just gonna be a nice apartment and without all the extras. And Facebook is good for 2 things. If you are looking to move with a roommate, for landlords and owners that are looking for tenants, like, oh, we have a room available, or we have a whole house available, or we have an apartment available. I also think it's smart in a place like LA. I can't speak for a lot of other places, but it is very smart to drive around like the areas you want to live in or places where you see a lot of apartment buildings. Look for signs that say now leasing, calling those numbers, seeing what they have available, because a lot of times people move out of these apartments and it takes some people some time to put the listing online, so it won't be there. I think people get stuck in this idea that if it's not online, then it doesn't exist. No, there's like so many places out here that are not online. Also, when you're looking around, you may see housing getting built, and usually new housing like that, like they usually have specials like, oh, first 2 months free, first month free, this off, that off. Because it's a new building, they're just trying to get people in there as quick as possible. So one thing that I did is I use Notion, or you can use Excel, and I just made a template where I put in the address, I put in the website, and I just organized my apartment search because I was using so many different websites. It was important to have everything that I saw in one page. So now make sure, please look at the reviews and look at how recent they are, how old they are, okay? And once you saw it on one website, like say you found the Vatican on apartments.com. Go look up the Vatican on Yelp. Go look up the Vatican on Google. Look at the Google reviews, Yelp reviews, apartments.com reviews, Zillow reviews. Look at all of the reviews, okay? I cannot emphasize this enough. When I start showing you guys the places that I was looking at and thinking of like living at, you're going to see why I say this. Okay, so when it comes to the fees, so because we're in the middle of a pandemic, the security deposit is gonna be a little different than normal, maybe a little higher, or it may not. It just depends on the place. Because so many people are getting laid off, because there's not enough money coming in, because people are not paying their rent. Some places are asking for like 3 times the rent. Some places are just asking for 1. It just really depends on the place, but I will say I did get a lot of places that were asking me for like 3 times the rent because of Corona, and that's a lot. Like, that's a lot. Like, but yes, the security deposit I will say is usually 1 month's rent, but like I said, it may be different because of Corona. I also want to say fees are sometimes negotiable, like rent, fees, all of that is usually negotiable if you have good credit and if you've never been evicted. I'm the type of person, I negotiate everything. I'm sorry, I don't care. Even when I was getting scholarships for college, I was negotiating with them and it worked, okay? Listen, I don't know, everybody thinks because it's in fine print or because it's online or because somebody says it's true. No, girl, you can make a way. If there's a will, there's a way. I negotiate everything, okay? I was like, I got good credit, I've never been evicted, and I managed to get my security deposit down for some of these offers, and I managed to get my rent down as well. Like, for example, I would tell them, well, hey, if I pay 3 months up front, what if I can get the rent down to this? Or what if I sign a 13-month lease instead of a 12 or a 14-month lease and I get that rent down a little bit? There's always room to negotiate. Okay, so the paperwork that you're going to need, you're going to get a credit check. Everybody gets their credit check. I'm so sorry, sis. Pay off that loan. Okay, pay off that credit card, girl. They're also gonna ask you for your proof of income. So they're gonna ask you for how much money you make, okay? On the application, you can make up a number. Well, you don't make up a number. You tell them the number. And then afterwards, when you get approved, they're gonna ask you for the proof of it. So if you lie, girl, there's no point of lying because you're gonna have to prove it. So they're gonna ask you for either some pay stubs or they're gonna ask you for your bank statements. Now, I'm an entrepreneur. I don't have like like I have checks. I have checks, but I don't really have like pay stubs and stuff like that because I work for myself. All I had to do was show them my bank statements. Now, it's different where you live, but this is LA. Like, everybody here is an actor, is into entertainment. Not everybody here, but a lot of people here, like, it's LA, okay? So they know a lot of people here are like creatives and stuff like that. So I would say I came to the right place for that because there's a lot of places that you go, they're very skeptical about entrepreneurs, especially small business owners, and especially if you're young and especially if you're a color. Okay, it's just like a whole bunch of oppressions going on, child. But I will say, because it's LA, they don't give a damn. If you got the money and you got proof of that money, they will take that money. They don't give a damn. Okay, so here's just a couple of things that you should probably consider when you're moving with COVID. The amenities. Just don't think about the amenities. I'm sorry. I know we don't know how long this is gonna last, but look, I'm just gonna give it another year, and I don't want you going to a place because they got a nice pool, a nice gym, a nice this, a nice that, and it's closed. Or it's open now, and in 2 weeks we're gonna have another spike, and then it's closed again. Look, the amenities, take that with a grain of salt. Before, that was something that would really get you to stay at an apartment, but now it's like, am I really gonna be able to use it? The next thing is the parking. You gotta realize that most people are working from home now. So if a building doesn't have parking, they're gonna be expecting you to park on the street. And if everybody's working from home, it's not gonna be any parking. So you wanna make sure that you look for a place that comes with parking, whether it's a lot, a garage, or something like that, because on-street parking right now is crazy. You also wanna consider that your utilities are going to be higher because everybody's spending more time at home, so that means usually your electric's gonna go up, your water's gonna go up, your sewer's gonna go up, like trash is gonna go up, like everybody's at home. So you gotta like plan and budget a little bit more for that. You also wanna think about shipping times, okay? Do not wait until you sign a lease to start looking for furniture. Because of Corona, things are not shipping until like 14 weeks later. You heard me, 14 weeks, yes. I was looking for a lot of couches when I first signed the lease, and a lot of them were saying, oh, ships in 10 weeks. Oh, ships in 8 weeks. Oh, ships in 14 weeks. Girl, you do not want to be in an empty apartment. Please make sure that you are thinking about the things that you don't have and that you do have, and thinking about the things that you have to order, because ordering times and shipping times for everything is different all around the board. Also, if you're moving across the country or long distance, you also need to consider if you're going to drive or if you're going to fly. And the flight prices right now are going up and down. It's very random. I would suggest taking a lot of luggage with you when you fly instead of shipping, because when you ship, you just don't know how long it's going to take, especially with Corona now. It's just everything's different. And also, I just think it's smart to like stuff a lot of suitcases with stuff and then ship the rest. Also consider flying first class, because when you fly first class with a lot of airlines, you get extra baggage, and you also are able to have heavier baggage. Like I think Delta, the regular is 50 pounds, but with first class you get an extra bag and they all get to be 70 pounds. It's cheaper to do that and to upgrade to first class rather than to ship it like FedEx from like Atlanta to California. Keep in mind that you may not be able to tour the places that you're interested in, because I just know when I was touring, some of the buildings were like, oh, we're doing in-person self tours. Like you could come in and tour it yourself. Like they'll just let you in and you walk around. Some places wouldn't even let you come. You would have to get on FaceTime, or you would have to get on Google Meet or Zoom. So you just gotta consider that you won't be able to see all the places. But do not just rely on pictures, guys. I'm sorry, because I promise you, it's not the same. Okay, so now we get into the apartments that I saw and the places that I was looking at and places that I was actually thinking about living and put applications in, and it just didn't work out. Okay, so to give you a little background, my very first apartment was in Paris when I studied abroad, and that was like 1,400 a month. It was like 1,200 euros. But I wasn't paying that. My scholarship was paying for that. So that was a lot to me, like 1,400. I was like, whoa, people pay this? I was like, wow. And then my second apartment was in Atlanta, and that one was $1,175. That was the last place I just came from. It was a studio apartment. It was so small. To me, I thought this was normal. I thought this was average until I thought about moving to LA. And I was like, whoa, that was dirt cheap, because I wish my rent was that now. But I wasn't like naive. Like I knew moving to LA was going to be really expensive. So I had in my mind, I was like, okay, I'll pay $1,600. Like $1,600 was my goal. I just knew $1,600 was a lot of money, and I was like, that is what I'm paying and that's it, okay? And I actually did find that. So at first I did have a roommate, like a friend that I actually knew. He was gonna be my roommate. We had found this beautiful place. Like, oh, I love this place so much. I was so excited. And it was the very first place that I saw in LA. This was back in January or February. It was months before I was planning to move, but I had found it, and I was like, look, can I just sign a lease for May? And they were looking at me crazy. So this was a new building, and because of that, the prices were reduced. The 2-bedroom was $3,195. So with Kel, with the roommate, it would have been $1,597 each, which was my goal. Like I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh. But the apartment did not come with any appliances. Like there was no refrigerator and there was no washer and dryer, but you can rent those things like easy. It came with a garage, which was a must for me. It was in a quiet neighborhood and it wasn't on a main street, and that was really important to me because I work at home, I film at home, and just being by a main street. And because the 2-bedroom was so nicely priced, I was like, they have a 3-bedroom. Let's go see what that looks like. The 3-bedroom was priced at $3,600, so it was $1,800 per roommate, and this was perfect. I was like, I can do 200 more a month. I really can, because I kind of wanted an extra room to film in and for an office, and for when my family came in from the East Coast, somewhere for them to sleep and they wouldn't have to get a hotel. It was so copious. It was so much light. I loved how there was like a living room and a dining room and another room and a powder room. It was so beautiful. The whole downstairs was beautiful. And I just love the idea of having stairs. It just really felt really homey. Now, if my roommate would have never fell through, I honestly would be living in that apartment right now, okay? But because my roommate fell through, and when he fell through, I looked for another roommate. I found another roommate, showed them that same place. They was like, oh, I love it. And then they fell through and said they didn't want to move. I just realized that I didn't want a roommate, and I just realized that I could afford to live alone. So I was just like, ugh. I'll just pay the extra money to live alone. It's just way more expensive to live alone. If you have a roommate, you can live in a very nice place and pay between $1,000 and $2,000 and just have a really nice place. But if you live alone, well, for what I want, the prices were like $1,900. That's being nice. $2,000 and up. Okay, so you'll see now the prices are about to jump, and that's what happened because I decided to live alone. The next place was a 1-bedroom, and this place was really beautiful. Oh my gosh, I remember first seeing it. I had showed it to my friends. I was like, it's so cute, it's so copious, there's so much light, oh my gosh. And I was really sure that this was a place. This place was $19.45 a month. It came with an in-unit washer and dryer, and they were having this special where if you signed a lease within the next 2 weeks, they would give you $750 in credit for movers, or you can get 1 month free if you got like a more expensive room. So for me personally, when I was looking for places and when I was looking at prices and budgeting, I was looking at the yearly cost versus the monthly cost. Because I had a full ride and I was working and making money from YouTube and stuff, I saved all of my money to move to LA. So I kind of wanted to see what is the end amount that I'll be paying for this entire lease instead of monthly, because I'm going to be making money and I have a savings so I can afford it. Okay, so if this is $19.45 a month and I get 1 month free, I would do $19.45 times 11. Because you get 1 month free, you're not paying for 12 months, you're only paying for 11. So I would do times 11, and then I would divide that by 12, a 12-month lease. So pretty much, even though it is $19.45, you would be paying $17.82. The only thing with this place, I put in an application, I was ready, I was excited, and then I waited until after I applied to go look at the reviews. They had the worst reviews of every apartment building I had ever looked at. It was like infested with roaches, the people were rude, they weren't giving people their security deposits back. Like, girl, it was like a nightmare. The next place after that was this place in NoHo. And this one was $2,100 a month. I liked it because it was really homey and it looked really big. Like, I think all apartments really look the same. And I really love this place because it looked different. Like, it looked like a home. It came with a parking lot, but not a garage, like somewhere you could just drive into. And so like, if they wanted to, anybody could walk back there and like see your car. But I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't gonna be searching for parking. The downside of this place is it only came with 1 washer and 1 dryer for all of the tenants. Yes, you heard me. Yes, you heard me. You heard me. Yeah. 1 washer and 1 dryer. Now, how many tenants was it? I think it was like 10 to 12. And because this was one of those smaller buildings that I found on Zillow, they were asking at first for 3 times the rent for a security deposit because they said that they had just signed somebody and she stopped paying the rent after 2 months because of Corona. I said, what that got to do with me? I don't care. After they checked my credit and they saw that I had never been evicted, they was like, okay, how about this? You can pay the first month of rent plus 2 months of security deposit and we'll waive the last month's rent. So I was like, okay, it's a lot going on there. But pretty much you would get 1 month's rent free and you would just have to pay 2 months of security deposit. What ended up turning me away from this place was a place that I saw on FaceTime and I liked it from that tour. But I was like, okay, something's telling me to get somebody to go look at this place in person. So I had one of my friends in LA go look at the place and they were like, Tariq, it looked good in the video, but it is not that big. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, I'm not saying this to be funny, I just want to give you a little perspective, but do you know that the lady who did your tour is a little person? I said, oh. So her angles, like it just made everything look big. And he was saying that outside of the window, you could literally reach out and touch someone. Like the sidewalk to the window was very close, and he was like, I know we film at home, like we do a lot of things at home. I know you like to walk around naked and everything, and there's people literally at your window, like they can look straight into your house, and it's on the first floor. And he just was like, I just don't think you'll like it. Like I know you, and I just know you will not like it. And so I moved on to the next place. The next place was $22.50 with nothing included. I like this place because it was open, it looked very big, and I loved the tree outside. Oh, it was so beautiful. And when you go on the balcony, you can see the tree right there, but you can also see the pool. And I kind of liked how the tree was in the way of people looking inside my apartment because, like I said before, I walk around naked a lot. But this did raise a little concern with like light, because I was like, I'm not always gonna want that tree there because I do film at home and everything like that. This place had a gym, it had a pool, it had a spa, it had all of that. It was really nice, and it also came with a garage. So it checked everything on my list, but it was just a little expensive. It was $22.50, but literally the day I found it, she was like, oh, the prices changes every day. And I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. She was like, I don't know, it's automated from the corporate, I don't know. It changes every day. It's $22.50 today, but tomorrow it may be $24.00 again. I was like, what? That makes no sense. Around the time that I found this place, I was going through a lot mentally, and my friend had actually suggested that I come to LA and stay with him until I found a place. So I didn't want to sign the lease to this place until I saw it in person. But by the time I actually moved out here and I was going to go see it in person, the price had like jumped to like $2,400, and I was not paying $2,400 without anything added. Like that's without utilities. So it would end up being like $2,500 to $2,600, and I was like, that is not worth it. That place was not worth $2,600. So I let that go. And then I came across this next place. This next place was $21.50. It was a lot of things that I didn't like about this place. First of all, I don't like them blinds. I just don't like blinds like that. I'm sorry. It just reminds me of something in the hood. I don't know, don't ask me, I'm sorry. I left the hood for a reason. I just don't want to feel like I'm there again. I'm sorry. There was not good lighting. It seemed very dreary in there. It just was all around bad. And it was in Van Nuys, girl. I mean, I just was like, The bedroom was extremely tiny. It was right next to a gas station. That's ghetto. I'm sorry. I am not living by a gas station. I have lived in places by a gas station. There's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of robbery and theft. There's a lot of people going to get relos and roll up. I don't got time, girl. I'm sorry. It's just too much going on at the gas station. It's too convenient. I don't want to live somewhere where people are always coming in and I don't got time. And then finally, I came across my apartment now that I'm in, that I'm going to show you guys in the next video, because I'm going to be showing you guys the entire apartment, unfurnished, what it came with, what I paid. I just think that would be better, and this video is already terribly long, and I would just hate to drag you through another 20 minutes. If you were about to ask about this couch, girl, since you're here to the end, it's from Hay, H-A-Y. I was gonna wait until, you know, the furnished apartment tour, but you stayed till the end, so you could definitely know that. But yes, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Stay positive and stay happy. I love all my tabies, and yeah.